You know, when Biden flew to Israel, part of the negotiations was that there would be humanitarian aid that was allowed to pass through the Rafah crossing. Ultimately, 20 trucks passed through on the occasion of his visit, which was really such a small number relative to the need that we are seeing. At the same time, the Israelis are trying to find ways to expand humanitarian assistance in a way that won't undermine their operation in Gaza. And they are constantly concerned about how Hamas is going to misappropriate goods that are intended for civilians, whether it's fuel or water, and using it for their own purposes. So this is a constant challenge for Israel, while at the same time Israel is very cognizant of its international support. Right now, Israel has more support from the international community to engage in Gaza than it has during past operations, and it would like to preserve that as well. And so I expect to see Israel both advancing its military operation in Gaza while trying to find ways to allow some form of humanitarian assistance as the situation becomes more dire.
Carmel, really good to get your perspective on this. Thank you. Carmel Arvid is a non-resident senior fellow at the Atlantic Council, speaking to us from Mexico City.
Thank you so much.
Well, among those who can't connect with their families in Gaza is Scotland's First Minister Humza Yousaf, whose parents-in-law have been trapped in the territory since the attacks by Hamas in Israel. He's reiterated his plea for a ceasefire.
We haven't heard from them, obviously, since the intensity of the bombing last night, and you can imagine how desperately worried we are, and to be frank, we do not know whether they're alive or dead. And that is the reality not just facing us, clearly the reality for many people right across the world who haven't heard from their loved ones who are trapped at Gaza and have been facing intense bombardment over the last 3 weeks.
Well, let's move on to some other stories that are making news now, and a lot of people have been surprised to hear that the U.S. actor Matthew Perry, best known for playing Chandler Bing in the hit 90s TV sitcom Friends, has died at the age of 54 at his home in Los Angeles. Friends, which followed the fortunes of 6 young friends living in New York City, aired from 1994 until 2004. Its final episode was watched by 52.5 million people in the United States, making it the most watched TV episode of the 2000s. Perry was cast as the awkward Chandler Bing, famous for his sarcastic one-liners. No cause of death was given, but U.S. media reports say he appeared to have drowned in his hot tub at home. He battled for years with addiction to painkillers and alcohol and attended rehabilitation clinics on multiple occasions. 17,000 soldiers and police have been deployed in the Mexican city of Acapulco, where many shops and residences have been looted since a powerful hurricane hit the region on Wednesday. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has promised to help rebuild the city, which was devastated by Hurricane Otis. 39 people are now known to have died, and 10 others are missing. Hundreds of thousands of people remain without power and water.
The devastation is clear to see. Acapulco has never recorded a Category 5 hurricane, and this one has wreaked havoc along the coastline. The World Meteorological Organization has described the storm as one of the most rapidly intensifying tropical cyclones on record. Only one other, Patricia, in 2015, has exceeded it. The speed at which Otis intensified took the government and weather forecasters by surprise. There was precious little time to issue warnings and prepare residents and tourists for its arrival.
It's like a movie. It's like the apocalypse. It really is like the apocalypse. But I hope Acapulco can recover as quickly as possible, because it seems like 90% of the buildings are being damaged.
There are reports supermarkets have been looted. The authorities say a security force of 17,000 personnel has been deployed across the area to maintain order. Furthermore, the Mexican Army and Navy have established an air bridge, says the government, to accelerate the distribution of humanitarian aid. Alcapoco is home to 800,000 people. 200,000 homes have been damaged, many are destroyed. Initial estimates suggest the cost may run to $15 billion. Those repairs will have to wait.
We are asking for food and water. We have no electricity. The electricity poles are down. We need food. That's what we are basically asking for.
Many locals are also struggling to communicate with friends and family, with cell networks out of action. But the immediate concern is to eat and drink. With supply chains under pressure, thousands of litres of water and food supplies are being distributed. It's a monumental challenge. David Waddell, BBC News.
A hurricane, the strength of a 5. 5. A hurricane devastated Alcapoco, a tourist destination. Hurricane 5 hit Alcapoco by storm. Mike Pence giving up his candidacy for president.
But the Bible tells us that there's a time for purpose.
Mike Pence giving up his candidacy for president. A mighty classification 5 hurricane destroyed Alcapoco.
The mother of the Liverpool football player Luis Diaz has been rescued after being kidnapped. Mr. Petro said the player's father remained in the hands of his abductors and that the authorities were looking for him. Colombian police say the kidnappings took place in the forward's hometown of Barrancas in the Guajira region of northern Colombia. South Africa have beaten New Zealand in the Rugby World Cup final in Paris to win a record 4th title. The defending champion, South Africa, won 12 points to 11. New Zealand played much of the game one man down after captain Sam Cane was sent off for a head-on-head tackle in the first half. He received the first ever